everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I'm building the Bluffs castle. So if you're interested in this build, you can download it off of the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. So I am building this by doing my own 1,000 subscriber challenge, although it doesn't happen now. It happens much later in the build. I completely broke the rule, which is you weren't supposed to change this foundation, build outside of it or anything like that. And I built this little bridge and it was completely unnecessary, and I just without thinking I put in a little foundation to make it look more like a bridge without realizing that, hey, that's adding to the foundation outside of the predetermined shape. And not my best, but it does look, in my opinion, rather cute. And also I'm not trying to compete for a soft pack, so I just kept it. I figured, I'm not actually trying to enter the competition, so why not? But I do apologize. It was, and the fun thing is, so I completely built this build, to start to finish. I had already, it was completely done. I had already started filming some of the intro shots. I had taken screenshots. I posted, a picture of it on Twitter. And it wasn't until the next day when I was looking at the picture that I was like, oh my gosh, I am such a complete putz. I just totally, I felt so silly. But, oh well, it happens to all of us. Oh my goodness. But here I am kind of getting out the basic shape of the build. I really love how this turned out. It's very haphazard in a way, which I do love when my older builds look haphazard. And I don't think I've built a castle on my channel before. I've definitely built one before, for sure. But they're always really small. I'm not a big sort of castle kind of person. I'm just not one of those builders, I don't think. You see kind of Simproved or Fry or Hatsy, and then I'm just not really one of that type of builder. I'm more of a small scale kind of, although that being said, I did build the castle in the sky. Does that count as a castle? I don't know. Anyways, nobody else built a castle for this challenge, so I figured I might as well do that. I actually specifically designed the foundation for this so that it could be either more traditional architecture or more modern architecture, and so it was really interesting to see where that took everybody. I think the majority of people went kind of modern, but yeah, I definitely made a very challenging foundation. I did it on purpose, and it was a little bit mean. Yeah, but I had a little bit of trouble with it myself. Mostly, So what I'm trying to say is, my main tip for doing any sort of foundation challenge is to, when you're not allowed to build outside of the foundation, is to take away. So since you can't build outside of the foundation, I tried to create space inside, so kind of negative space. I didn't do it a huge amount. I've done it more before, but I just kind of made a whole bunch of little nooks where I put stuff, and then to kind of counterbalance that, I tried to make the upper floors hang out a bit more, and so that's how I kind of make the shape my own. And I've done that before with a foundation challenge, and so I do like doing that. It makes me feel sneaky, although I really honestly can't be that sneaky because I totally messed up. I honestly cannot believe how much I messed up with that, but let's just move past it. I love how this castle turned out, and I think it fits really well with the ruins behind it. This lot is set up as a sort of family type home, but you can't actually make this lot be a family type home. This is the Bluffs, and it's set, which is so sad because this place is gorgeous. Like, I would love for my Sims to live here 24/7. Like, oh my goodness. And so technically your Sim can, they just won't live here. You can like purchase a property and then just have your Sim be on this lot for 24/7 and just never go home. So you could do that. It's kind of like, some people will, have a shop, or a store that they're running, and they'll have like an apartment upstairs. A lot of people do that in The Sims, and so that works too. But all of these places where I had stairs originally, I thought there might be a door leading from it, but there were so many doors by the end of this, so I did take out, not like about half of them, I think, so that they made a little bit more sense, because there was a lot of doors. Let's see, I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doors maybe on the bottom floor. It was 5 or 6. It was a lot of doors, and I narrowed it down to 3 doors, which is still a fair amount, but And so I tried to stick with really just these 2 kind of wallpapers or types of wallpapers, and I used the stone from the bowling stuff pack, the mid-century modern stone, because I thought it actually looked the most like a castle. Like, it looks rough. Like, sometimes the brick is either too small, or it's the sort of giant stonework that we got in Get Together, which is almost too perfect for me. So I really like this because it made it look old. And so I almost kind of imagine that this is where a really, really big castle used to sit, and then it kind of fell into ruins a long time ago. And so then some other people came along and built a smaller castle out of the ruins. And so I kind of tried to match the stones so that they kind of match. And I just kind of imagine like somebody like almost cannibalizing, that's not the right word. Is it? No, it's not. But taking away from the old structure to build this new one. And I just thought it looked really cool. And I've never built on this lot before. I did once try and build a Steven Universe build on this, because I thought that looked the most like the big sort of lady, the fusion statue that holds Steven's house, which, by the way, huge fan of Steven Universe. Right now I'm currently waiting for that one, the really big, the 1 hour sort of episode to go up on the internet. I'm anxiously waiting. I cannot wait, because it's the 29th when I'm filming this, and I'm pre-filming this more earlier than I usually do, because well, one, the Parenthood pack is coming out tomorrow, which it's killing me. I really wish I could have done it today, because today is Memorial Day in the United States, which means I didn't have to work. It means a lot of other stuff too, but the main thing for me is I didn't have to work. And so it would have been really nice if it had come out today instead of tomorrow when I do have to work. I'm not bitter at all. No. But so then I also, on the 1st, is when my grad school application thing opens again, and so I'm going to be working on that. And so I just felt like I had so much to do, so I definitely tried to do a lot of pre-recording with my 3-day weekend, so I don't actually know. I'm planning on doing a room build for my Parenthood sort of pack expedition. Oh gosh, I can't talk today. For my expedition, and so I'm going to be building a hippie teen room, and I had a poll on Twitter where I asked you guys what type of teen I should build a room for, and I was flabbergasted by the response. I had over 100 people vote, which was crazy, and you guys voted for hippie teen, and the other choices were angsty teen, sporty teen, and messy teen. And so I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but I will definitely do hippie teen and try and see if I can do some other ones. So I don't know when exactly those builds will be up, because they're not going to be sticking, I don't think, to the regular schedule. I also do want to build like a nice family home with the new expansion pack. I'm tempted to build a starter, but no, I want to go all out. I love going all out. Ugh, so much fun. It's so difficult too, because just some of the clutter objects are just weirdly expensive. And yes, there's, from the vampire game pack, there was a sort of like a bird skull in a terrarium type thing, and that used to be like 1 simoleon, and they changed it to like 175, and I was just like, no, because my vampire starter build will now be too expensive. It won't be a starter anymore, all because the Sims team. And the mumbling begins. But I didn't show most of the bathroom building in this because, oh yeah, transparent rugs. Is that always going to be a thing now? Like, has anyone else noticed that? Like, the rugs are weirdly transparent over some of the vampire stuff pack or game pack, like, flooring. It's weird. Anyways, but all of the bathrooms I got a little lazy and they're all furnished with the vampire stuff pack stuff, like, or game pack stuff, like the shower, the sink, the toilet. Yes. But here I did actually separate the second floor bathroom into a sort of powder room and then a shower room. And that's because the space wasn't big enough for like a full bathroom. It kind of like took away from the space too much. And I actually have seen that before when I was in Hungary. I saw that in a couple places and I thought it was really weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I thought it was quite odd, but it is a thing, so I figured, why not? Hungary has castles. I forget what it's called, but there was this really beautiful castle near Begistaba, and it was like really run down, kind of like the ruins behind this one, and I just loved going there. It was like so cool. Anyways, but I did have a lot of fun building this. Once I kind of got into it, like sometimes I get a little flabbergasted when I build the whole exterior of the build because I don't tend to plan the layout first. I usually just fit whatever I can in there. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning and I don't mean to. It's almost 7 on a Monday night, which is basically a Sunday night for me because of the long weekend. But yes, so I kind of like got like a little like a hesitant, you know, and sometimes that can be really frustrating. And so I did cut out that portion, especially because I've been trying to make it so my builds don't go so fast because I got a couple of complaints of making people nauseous, and so I'd rather you guys not get nauseous watching my builds. And when I really looked at them, they made me nauseous too. So at that point, I was kind of like, well, if this is making you nauseous too, so I've been trying to cut out some of the more boring stuff, like the bathrooms, which really were just furnished with the vampire. Like I got real lazy, guys, right there. But this pack is, or this build is very heavy on the vampire game pack and on the get together expansion pack. Oh gosh, there's 3 of them. It's so difficult to get them all straight, but this house ended up with a very blue, black, and white theme. I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't sure what I wanted with this castle. At first I thought, you know, maybe I'll make it look really run down as well, like the ruins behind it. But as I kept building, as I kept building, I realized that I didn't want to trash my own build because it was looking like I really liked how it was looking. So I was just like, we can make this an actual thing. And so it's kind of like almost it's refurbished or something, but this build doesn't have any electronics in it. There's no computers or TVs, and the stove and refrigerator are the old-timey ones. And there's no like electric lights per se. Like they kind of look electric. I'm not quite sure if they are, but they're not quite. And so I figured I did try and make it kind of obvious where you could put a computer or a TV, you know, sort of over the fireplace sort of thing. I need to stop yawning. Oh, it's not like I drank a grande latte today, because I totally did. It was delicious. Oh my goodness. We went for a nice long drive, my boyfriend and I, and it was really, really nice. Yes. Today was a fun day, and the day has actually been going by a lot slower than it usually does for me, and I've gotten, I think, almost everything done on my to-do list, which is pretty rare because I set myself a pretty rigorous to-do list. You guys should hear my to-do list process. So I have anxiety, right? And I also have kind of anxious parents, and I have very type A parents, and I am also quite type A, which is in a way why my builds kind of come across as they do, is because I put so much like emphasis into little details. But when I write a to-do list, I will usually divide it into real life stuff and YouTube stuff, or I will divide it into something like grad school or household chores and other stuff. And so I'll make a list of all the things I need to do under those different categories, and then I will mark what day I'm going to do them on, and I make myself a daily, like almost like a planner thing, and I will spit those things in there. So I try not to overpack my days, although I almost always do, because I'm way too much of an overachiever. And so I end up with basically 2 to-do lists, one for every day, and I get to check everything off twice though, which makes me happy. But yeah, so it's a process to be me. Yeah. Yes, I'm quite rigorous with my time. I have a lot of trouble just being. Like, I get it kind of mostly from my mom, who, like, she's very much a I have to be doing something at all times sort of person, and it's not really a good thing for us to be this way, but we just kind of are, and so it's actually really hard to kind of, like, stand down and, like, rest for a bit, and, like, whenever we do, we always feel really guilty, which isn't the best. But here I am experimenting with some of the tiling. I did that a fair amount in this build. I just kind of had some fun with it, kind of mixed and matched some stuff, and I really like how they all turned out. Especially, you'll see some of the carpets. Oh, love it. Like, there's a carpet in the study and then in the baby's room, and both of those just turned out really, really fun. And yes, so here I originally thought this would be a I thought it would be a sort of breakfast nook, but then it looks so cute, so instead I put in a little artist nook, and I put in that artist nook, and I put in that couch from Vampire Stuff Pack, because that couch looks like a fainting couch to me, and it always reminds me of a naked lady laying down on it, and, like, you know, like, paint me one of your French ladies, you know, that sort of thing. And so I always imagine, like, that's the couch that you would paint somebody on. That's a little odd, yes, but it is. And so here is the one thing about the build that was really frustrating. So I wanted to use all of these, like, candles and whatnot, and they're just so yellow. Oh my goodness. I went back and you can change the colors of the lights if you didn't know, and so I changed all of them to be a more cool tone, but it still did kind of throw everything off. But I want to be semi-realistic, but yes and no. But here's where I did with this carpet, because I noticed that the white of the sort of pattern matches, even though the background, the gray and the blue don't. And so it almost looks like the pattern is laid over them. And it was just, I just thought it was so cool. And I even thought, you know, you could, like, change what directions they're going. You could just make completely new patterns with this carpet. And I had never realized that before. Like, I have only ever really used this carpet once or twice before, and the last time I used it was in my Rory's build challenge, and I used it for the sort of dressing room, and it was in a really confined area, and this is how it was again. And I just really love how it turned out. It almost looks kind of like a plaid or something, or an argyle, and I think that looks really cool. You guys should tell me what you think. I do love hearing your comments. Honestly, I'm sorry, it's a little problematic because, you know, it's a bit dependent on you guys, but that is one of my favorite things about doing YouTube, and because of that, I have been getting a lot more into my Twitter account, and so I highly recommend that you go follow me. It's at penappleYT, I think. Yes. I've started doing a lot of stuff, and I do polls, and so if you're interested in taking a part of those polls, you know, like having an active vote in what teen room I do, you should go follow me. Self-promo, that's okay. We're all good here. But here's like another little study, but more of like a music room, and it's got like the organ, and it did turn out quite how I wanted it to. This room, and then the other sort of, not necessarily a master bedroom, but one of the bigger bedrooms on this floor, I didn't really like how it turned out is this one. I don't know why, just something about the spaces were a little awkward. So I didn't quite like how they turned out, but I think they looked okay. Yeah. I actually forgot to mention that this build is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, and I didn't write down the price, but I think it's about 20 or 250,000 simoleons, in that range. But if you put it on this lot, you don't technically have to buy it, so it doesn't matter what the price is. And you don't have to pay rent on it either, so that's kind of a plus. But this took me about 5 hours and 45 minutes to build, so it wasn't too bad. I'm excited to be building those teen rooms though, because hopefully each one of those only takes me like 20 to 40 minutes max. That sounds kind of bleak. It's bleak, but it's true. I can easily spend 20 to 40 minutes on a bedroom all by itself. But I am quite excited for that. Oh gosh, there was something I was gonna say and I almost forgot it. Maybe something to do with bedrooms? No? Well, I know what I can talk about. So the exterior and interior sort of wall texture color things, they all match, and I did that on purpose because I feel like in most castles they don't have like really fancy painted walls. They just basically have the stonework, and if you don't know this, castles are very notorious for being cold because of all of the stone. And so even during like some of the hottest days of summer in like places like England and Germany and whatnot, people would still be like huddled inside these castles just freezing their butts off because of all the shade that it generated and how like cold the stone was. And so they would also be quite damp. This one isn't damp though, I can promise you. It's quite warm and cozy. But this is a really fun room. I kind of imagined this as being a kid or preteen or teen sort of room. And I think it's got a lot of character. It's got I don't know, what type of character does it have? It has a very laid back character, I think. And I do like how it turned out. It's a lot more relaxed than I think most of the spaces in this. And I do like how it turned out. And so I kind of have like, I have a big master bedroom, I have maybe more of a guest room that I don't quite like, and I have this room, which is more like a teen kid room, and then I also have a toddler room, which I will be getting to shortly. And the only thing with the toddler room is I did not add a high chair or a little toddler potty, mostly because I figured you could put that in if you would like. You kind of will probably need a toddler potty, but they didn't really have those in, I guess they kind of did. They had, what's it called? Chamber pots, which honestly are way worse than like what we know today as little like kid potties. Like, ugh, that, and they used to dump those out of, I can't imagine that. Like, I honestly cannot imagine walking down the street with the threat of somebody dumping their own poop on you as you're walking by. Like, it was gross times back then, for sure. But this nook, I am obsessed with this nook. It's completely not functional. I don't think you can sit in that chair, but I absolutely love it. Like, it just looks so wizardy to me, and that almost doesn't quite fit the vibe of this, but I also just love the book, that illustration of the sort of plant. It's so cool. Like, I've always really been interested in plants and almost kind of like herbology, but I also haven't. Like, it's something I've always thought was really cool, but I've never super looked into it. Although, when I was in high school, in my senior year, one of the projects we had to do in biology, and here's the other carpet I did. I made it look really cool. You guys will see it in a second. I remade the pattern. Just one color, but I remade the pattern. I really like it. But anyways, so I was in biology, and one of the things that you had to do, like, in that class, was you had to collect bugs and then pin them, and like you had to like kill them and like pin them, and I could not do it because one, bugs make me kind of squeamish, and then two, I felt so bad kind of just purposely going after bugs to kill them and like pin them down, and like sometimes like people, like the kids wouldn't really fully because you'd gas them. That's how you do it with like nail polish remover, and so sometimes they wouldn't fully do it, and so then they pin the bugs down, and then they kind of come out of their stupor and they'd wriggle around, and no, it was just not not my thing. And so the teacher said that if you could come up with an equivalent project, you could do that instead. So what I did was I went around and took pictures of different plants, and then I identified them, and I made this whole little poster board, and it was all native plants from the area I live in, and it was really cool. And the teacher liked it so much that he kept the poster board when I was done, and so I was very proud of myself because I didn't have to kill a single bug or plant. I was very proud of myself. It was so much fun. I just went around taking tons of pictures, and I identified everything, and I really had a blast. And so, yes, that was a little bit of, I guess, my own hippie spirit shining through. I go back and forth with bugs because on the one hand I'm kind of they squeam me out. They make me so squeamish that I just kind of go into the sort of die sort of instinct. But on the other hand, I'm just kind of like, but I mean, that's not really fair. Like, they're just trying to live their lives just like us. And so usually what happens is I just run or I call on my boyfriend to make the decision for me. But here is that bridge. And honestly, it would have looked about as good as if I just left it like this. But nope. I had to break my own rule. Like the biggest rule, like some of the other rules were no CC, and that's basically about it. That, and you had to be a subscriber. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm not subscribed to myself. Well, then I really couldn't have entered anyways. I'm not, though. You're not allowed to subscribe to yourself on YouTube. I know, I've tried. And so I'm not. But yeah, those were basically the rules, that, and you couldn't change the foundation. So I broke the cardinal rule. Oof. Not the best, but I do love how this like little bridge turned out. Like it's so cute, and I love I used that archway, and it's also inside the castle as well, and I wanted to use it on the exterior here too, but the foundation was divided by 2s instead of 3s, and so it wouldn't have fit. And so I actually, when I was building, I was super tempted to change it, but I did remember not to do that, so I'm not completely hopeless. But here's a little chest nook. I thought this was really cute. This is where I would have put a door, but I decided against it because there was that door right next to it, and I like that one because it does kind of make sense. And then this little area here, I was going to put a door, which really would not have made sense because there would have been 2 doors off the kitchen, but instead I put a little bench. I don't even know if it's functional. You guys, I have an issue. I really, really, really need to start playtesting my builds, but I'm lazy, and I put so much work into the other aspects of my build that by the time it gets to like the point where I would play test it, I'm just so exhausted. It's really bad. Like the other day I saw somebody comment, they're like, wow, this build looks really good. I hope it plays as well as it looks. And I was just like, maybe not, probably not. I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, like, it's a process, these builds. Sometimes I think I could probably do more builds a week if I didn't do the screenshots or film the intro or whatnot, but that's part of what I love doing. Like I love doing the intros, and I haven't ever really seen anybody who does the intros quite like I do, and so I'm really, really proud of them, and I hope you guys like them too. You better. No. But I do. I like, those intros are only ever like 30 to 40 seconds long, and honestly, it takes me probably like 2 hours at least to do them because I spend a fair amount of time filming lots and lots of stuff, and then I have to edit that stuff. Well, first, okay, so the way I record, anyways, it's just a process. It really is. It's too long of a process. But here I am working on the sort of exterior stuff, and I did cut out the majority of the landscaping, mostly because I showed a lot of that in my Voorhees build challenge, and it's a similar landscaping style. Mostly I just was filling space. Like, I wasn't super inspired for the landscaping on this. I just really didn't want it to look like it was sitting in the middle of nowhere. And I tried to make the moat look more natural. And so I wasn't super into the way that the landscaping turned out okay, but like I wasn't like super focused on it, so I didn't show it. But I did, try and do these little pathways, and I also made imaginary little bridges using those stepping stones from Spa Day, which I've seen other people do before, and I hadn't ever done that myself, so I did it. But gosh, there were just so many moments where I really could have realized that bridge was breaking the rule, and I just honestly did not until I had already taken screenshots. Like, oh, that's super pathetic. But yeah, so here I'm putting in a little fountain. Mostly because I wanted to fill the space in between these two foundations. It is a little bit awkward. I did also see somebody fill the space with a pool, kind of like I did here. And you can swim in the moat. I did make that one swimmable. I didn't make the little fountain swimmable. But I don't know how easily you could swim in the moat. Just like everything else with this build, I did not play test it. Hopefully your sim doesn't drown. If they do, I'm sorry. They should have had a lifeguard. Oh my goodness. I am very ready for the speed build to end, mostly because I'm fidgety and I want to see if the new Steven Universe is out yet. I hope it is. My boyfriend and I are waiting for all 4 of, the sort of 4-part episode to get out, because we don't want to have to like watch one and then be super antsy for the next one. But yeah. He actually introduced me to the series, and it's great. And like when we were going on our drive earlier today, we were listening to like all the music from it, and it was so much fun. Another moment where I really could have realized that, hey, hello, this is the foundation. Oh, goodness gracious. But I would just like to interject here. Thank you guys also so much for subscribing. I almost have 1,200 subscribers now, which is absolutely crazy bonkers. Like, you guys are all so great, and thank you guys also so much for subscribing and commenting. The comments really do make my day, and I do read all of them, and I try to reply to them, not necessarily ones that don't necessarily need replying, because some of them are like one-word things, so I'm kind of like, okay. But anyways, I really hope that you guys liked my take on my own 1,000 subscriber challenge. I realized I can't call it a 1K challenge because that sounds like 1,000 simoleons, which this is definitely not. Way more expensive than that. I had some confusion about that, I think, on Twitter. But yeah, I hope that you guys are all having a really great day and that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!